This bites. Your commercial's stupid, you're a no-talent hack, and your donuts are stale. I'm out of here. Fast, fast, fast.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and if there's one way to get me invested in a Star Wars comic, it's to bring back Admiral Holdo from the last Jedi? Was that what she was introduced and died?
Vice Admiral Holdo. Let's not
Vice Admiral Holdo. Whatever. That in fact happened in Charles Soule's Star Wars last week. I was not impressed. And here to talk with me about the insistence by Marvel, DC, and other publishers to keep including these characters that are almost universally hated and keeps cramming them down our throats, even though it's been proven that no one likes them, is my good friend Aaron Sparrow, comic book writer and editor. How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing really well, Wes.
I couldn't believe it. I've been reading the War of Bounty Hunters story arc, just the main series. I haven't been reading because it's 30. Did you know it's a 34 issue crossover?
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of fucking crossover. You know what I'm saying? That's like.
Remember when Shadows of the Empire was told in a 6-issue comic book series from Dark Horse and like a tie-in novel, and had a couple of tie-in video games, but like basically all told the same basic story that was better than this bloated mess.
Yeah, so I'm like, I can't invest in the whole thing, but I have been reading like the mainline series, and I saw that Admiral Holdo, at least her as a younger character, is like behind enemy lines, is reporting to Princess Leia, and Princess Leia is like, yeah, I've known her since we were teenagers. And I was like, if this fucking character shows up in the regular main series, if she's just mentioned, I don't even have to fucking see her. I'm dropping the book immediately. Charles Soule does not have enough cachet with me as a reader, even though I don't think he's a terrible writer, for me to stick around for him shoving bullshit down my throat.
I think as a writer, Charles Soule is a great attorney. Listen, Wes,
I'm a bigger fan than you. I like Charles Soule.
Man, you're just a man baby. You can't handle the glory that is Vice Admiral Holdo and her amazing plan from The Last Jedi. Which you just watched. We just reviewed recently.
She stole Akbar's death. Bullshit.
It should have been Akbar's death. And since that movie was going for stupid comedy, you could have had him, call Hux on the phone, since they love to do that. Just call him up and be like, do you know what this is? As he's turning the ship, and Hux is like, what? And he's like, do you know what this is? Hux is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, it's a trap. And then he slams through it. And everybody goes, oh, that was stupid. But, the dumb people in the audience
beautiful.
Like, oh, that was awesome.
That would have been a good way to go.
It was awesome. I love the it's a trap guy. That was the thing. It should have been Akbar's death, because damn it, even if you're just a casual fan of Star Wars and you don't know who Admiral Akbar is, he's the it's a trap guy. So, the general audience would have been
You've seen the GIF.
I loved the it's a trap guy.
Yeah.
I don't care about this purple hair lady that just got introduced and is a colossal bitch.
Yeah. I don't even want to get into that. We talked about The Last Jedi, how much we hated. Apparently next week we're going to be talking about The Rise of Skywalker. The viewers demanded it, so we'll do it. I've never seen the damn thing before, but I will watch it, and Aaron Sparrow will watch it for a fourth time.
I'm gonna say I'm glad you called them viewers, because I don't believe that they're fans if they're actually requesting.
They're not friends, I'll tell you that. You said I really want you to watch The Rise of Skywalker, Wes. Screw you too. I'll do it. I said I would. Look,
I disagree with you guys. I disagree with your takes. And the only fitting punishment I can think of is to make you watch Rise of Skywalker.
Apparently. So we're going to do that next week. But what is it with people wanting to cram these characters that have been summarily dismissed and hated? This week, or I think it was last week, in TMNT, Venus de Milo's coming back to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. One of the most despised characters in the entire TMNT universe, until we got, what's her name, Jennica, in the new TMNT series.
Is she going to be the lizard version of her, or is she going to be the turtle version of her?
Who gives a shit? It's going to be the turtle version, I believe, though.
Oh, okay. That's the version people hated. But now, she has a little bit more of a shine, because Jennica's so much.
Because she's not Jennica?
Yeah, because she's not Jennica. Look, it's people. It's like people who hated the Star Wars prequels and then saw the sequels and went, oh, you know what? The prequels weren't that bad. It just gives you an appreciation for the thing that before that you didn't like, because you realize it can be so much worse.
Yeah, but you don't see him throwing fucking Jar Jar Binks into this shit.
Jar Jar Binks was in a lot of episodes of the Clone Wars, and they actually made him kind of enjoyable.
Yeah, but that wasn't. That was Dave Filoni. You know what I'm saying? He's got a little more trust there.
I don't think Charles. I mean, and Charles Soule. Let's be honest. He's part of.
He had a great Vader run. I'm not going to undersell him.
I'll happily disagree with you there. I've been told that I never disagree with you. You only have guests on that agree with you. I'm gonna disagree with you. I did not.
Get with the echo chamber, Aaron. What the fuck? You're making me look bad.
I'm gonna break rank here and say that I don't. I find Charles Soule to be a very dull writer. But that's just an opinion. No offense against him. It's just he's not my cup of tea. Art is subjective, and people tend to take it really personally. You're like, yeah, I don't like this guy, and they're like, oh, you're nuts, blah blah blah. And it's like, look, it's my tastes. Yours might be different, and that's cool. I'm fine with that. Just chill out. But yeah.
Although I will say, with the time and the sequel trilogy, which I've seen 2/3 of, I don't hate Jar Jar Binks nearly as much as I used to.
No, I will. I'd take an entire trilogy devoted to
Mr. Jar Jar Binks.
Devoted to Jar Jar. Well, when you go back and watch Phantom Menace, you quickly realize that Jar Jar's not the worst thing in that film. The worst thing in that film is Jake Lloyd.
Don't say that. That kid ended up having a lot of things happen, like mental distress and stuff.
Well, I mean, it's not his fault. It's the fault of
It's George Lucas. Why did they cast like a 7-year-old to play that part? He should have been 17.
Yeah, there were kids, but there were kids. If you go and you watch the screen tests on some of the DMVs, there were some kids that looked like they had a lot more talent, but for whatever reason, they didn't get chosen.
Joshua Jackson should have been Anakin Skywalker over Hayden Christensen. That was so. That kid could not emote shit other than whiny bitch.
Well, Lucas, if I recall, there was we're getting we're getting far afield here, but I believe Lucas had a statement where he said that when he.
You literally just cut out.
Your typical bad boy.
You literally cut out for the entire explanation.
Did I? Am I back now?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So there was a statement, I think that, in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Lucas had a statement where he was saying that he, when Hayden came in, he wanted to play the character as kind of dark and brooding and moody and, really like kind of all internally like churning. And Lucas was like, no, you're going to be a petulant teenager. Because that's how Lucas saw the character. And so he said he really did. He apologized and said he did Hayden a disservice by insisting on that and not letting him kind of interpret the character his own way. So I don't entirely blame Hayden Christensen. I think that he was saddled with George was really rusty. He hadn't been in the director's chair in a long time, and he was never the strongest director as far as getting people to emote. He needed to. He definitely wasn't the best writer of dialogue ever. No, you need somebody to come in and polish.
But I want to go to the Tachi station for power converters.
That's a good line. I'll tell you what's not a good line. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sand. I hate sand.
I mean, it's a true statement, though. Sand does get everywhere.
It gets in my butt crack. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. Look, an abrasive substance that gets in your butt crack, you're not going to appreciate it. I think that was the most relatable moment we had with Anakin.
Probably, but getting back to this, we've got the original trilogy characters in this Star Wars series. You have a character in Admiral Holdo associated with something that kind of put the movie franchise to a halt. Why do you want to taint the original goodness of the original trilogy characters with a character like that? Why do you want to remind people of something they hated so much?
Well, Charles Soule is part of Kathleen Kennedy's story group that worked on the High Republic. So he is, he knows where his bread is buttered, or at least, until we find out whether or not her contract's going to be renewed again. So, he's going to serve her interests, and her interests are replace the original trilogy characters with the sequel characters, just rub her stink all over the legacy of George Lucas and eradicate Luke, and cram as many of these hated characters in as possible, because damn it, you're going to accept them because they're better. They're better. That Lucasfilm knows what you need better than you know yourself as a fan, and you're going to accept Admiral Holdo because she is awesome, because the Force is...
You know who I would like to see more than Admiral Holdo in a comic book? Zero the Hutt.
Oh yeah, Zero would be great. Love Zero.
That made that animated movie unwatchable.
You didn't like the Truman Capote voice that Zero the Hutt had?
No, and I didn't even like them calling them Hutlings or whatever they were. But I could stand that character more than Laura Dern's Holdo. And Laura Dern's a good actress. I feel bad for her.
Yeah, how did you make me hate Laura Dern? Like that is quite an accomplishment. I've pretty much loved her in everything I've ever seen her in, except The Last Jedi. I hated her guts. I hated her stupid dress. I hated her stupid purple hair. I hated the character. I hated the way she acted. I hated the way she treated Poe. Just her plan was stupid. It made no sense. I mean, we could go on like a million, but to cram her into this comic book.
She essentially made Poe a mutineer for no reason.
Well,
all he said was, "What are we doing here?" And she would not tell one of the leaders of the resistance what the plan was. So he had to assume that she didn't know what she was doing.
Mm-hmm. And all she had to do was give him a little bit of what the plan was. And by the way, the plan was stupid. It got a lot of people killed that didn't need to die. Stupid. There was
the low-speed space chase.
Yeah, well, I mean, the script was stupid. That's really the main thing here. But Charles Soule is going to cram that in because he's part of the group that doesn't want old school Star Wars fans. They're like, F you, you're going to love the sequels. They're the fans we want, the ones that the sequels, the 12 people that The Last Jedi appeals to, and you see them with their sock puppet accounts on Twitter.
Well, if you go in the comments, you'll see all 6 of them saying that we're dumbasses. So that's half the audience.
That's half the
sequel trilogy.
And look, if you like it, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with your foolishness.
Everybody can like bad stuff. Yes.
That's right. Look,
I like Ready to Rumble. I know it's a bad movie. That's the difference. I can admit I like a bad movie.
Yeah, I can admit that like this film that I love is terrible. You know what? I'll tell you a terrible film that I enjoy. Howard the Duck.
I like Howard the Duck. It's so underrated.
Bad. It's so terrible on every level. But oh man, I don't know. Maybe it's because I always, as a kid, I always had a crush on Leah Thompson. And so
that was a good movie. Willow was better, but I like Howard the Duck.
You go back and you watch some of those jokes, and you're just like, oof. but I don't care.
When he had the little duck condom, even when I was like 8 years old, I laughed.
Oh really? I didn't know what it was.
I was in a progressive household, Aaron.
So at 8 years old, your mom
I've told you stories.
Here's some rubbers, kid.
It was more like, here's a pamphlet on syphilis. Make sure you read this before dinner. Like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, because that's
probably
what
not old enough for this. Pretty bad pictures here.
Yeah, you want to look at syphilis-infected genitals right before you eat.
Yep. No, don't even get into that one. We've talked about our war stories offline here. Maybe one day we'll talk about all the weird shit that happened to us as a kid. But let's talk about the weird stuff that's happened to us for being fans. Another set of characters that we can't get rid of are the stupid 2016 Ghostbusters.
Oh,
of course they remove them from the movies, but they throw them back into the comic books. What are we, fucking chop liver? Why do we have to deal with these shitty characters?
Well, I mean, it's IDW, so nobody's reading it anyway.
But it was good before. They literally ruined the series.
Because, god damn it, you man baby, you are going to accept these wonderful Ghostbusters, for the powerful, strong, wonderful characters that they are. Did they make?
I accept that they're not funny.
Did they?
Even a little bit.
No, it was not funny at all. Well, even if they did stumble onto a joke that could have been mildly amusing, they didn't give it any time to breathe. So it was just characters yammering. It was
like really over the top. That was like, there's a little bit over the top with the original Ghostbusters, but you have like the straight guy that makes it more funny, and it was just everyone over the top in the entire movie.
Yeah, it was like, what if everyone were Venkman and they all just talked all over each other all the time? And you can see Kristen Wiig is so depressed through that whole film. Like, she's been in good movies. She knows what a good script is.
She's legitimately funny is the problem.
Yeah, and she's just there like, oh. And
bad casting.
I think Red Letter Media did a bit where they said, like, they just turn the mic on. And it's the mistake they always make with Melissa McCarthy, where they're like, just say funny things regardless of context. And she's just like just throwing things out there like, oh, I got to get new shoes. My bunions hurt. And it's supposed to be funny, because she's saying stuff. But
what was the name of the actress that played Holdman? I think the name of the character was Holdman.
Or Holtzman, Kate McKinnon.
You're talking about someone that is legitimately not funny whatsoever. She thought it was funny just to make faces in the background. That was her contribution to the movie.
Yeah, she was mugging constantly.
It was like, What is this jackass doing back there?
With a good direct, and she was the favorite. That's the thing that like cracked me up, is like everybody, who liked the movie was like, oh, she's so great, and there's like fan art devoted to her and things like that. So again, these things are subjective. I guess there's people that liked it. It wasn't enough to make it a box office success, so I don't know why they keep trying to resurrect it. But again, it's creators doing things out of spite. For the most part, or maybe it's like me saying that I'd love to take a crack at like a Captain Marvel book just to see if I can make it good. Maybe it's people who are just like, hey, maybe I can do something with these characters.
I got what it takes to make these shitty characters everyone hates loved.
Yeah,
well, you're going to need more than a 6-issue miniseries, sir. You're probably going to need a few years.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need more. But I think there is a look. Every comic creator deep down thinks that they're the ones who are going to make Doom Patrol work. So.
Well, the problem is that it did work at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like you think you're going to recapture some magic or bring some magic to it. I don't know. But there's some things that just are born bad. And Ghostbusters 2016 was born bad. It's always going to have that stink on it. This is the problem with a lot of reboots and things that we're seeing coming out of Hollywood right now, is if you have people who don't care, or who care more about an agenda or politics, and injecting some sort of political messaging into a property than they care about the property itself and the characters, the odds are very high that you're going to produce a terrible product that nobody likes, that alienates fans of the original, that doesn't pick up enough new fans to make it viable, and you're going to put a radioactive stink on it that is going to make it untouchable for 25 years. The idea of an all-female Ghostbusters team is now tainted for 25 years, and it doesn't deserve to be. It didn't even have to be an all-female. Worked. Yeah, it should have worked. It also should have been done a little bit differently. You shouldn't have maybe done an all-female Ghostbusters team. You could have done half and half and had them play off of each other. The way that the movie should have worked is, instead of being a whole reboot, you bring back the original Ghostbusters, and they're getting old and they're retiring and they're franchising out, and then you can have a bunch of good comedic actors. You should have had Paul Rudd in there from the beginning. Even before he got announced for Afterlife, I was saying Paul Rudd should have been the lead Ghostbuster if they decided to do like a Ghostbusters franchise, because he is going to anchor that movie. Everybody loves Paul Rudd. I don't care who you are. You can't. He's impossible to hate.
It's true.
I mean, I'm sure that there's like 12 weirdos on Twitter that hate him, and we'll eventually try to cancel him for something. But normal people love Paul Rudd.
Yeah. So, they just keep trying to make fetch happen with this stuff. And just think about what they did with the Independence Day. You can probably never make an Independence Day movie ever again. No, you kill a franchise. Look at everything Alex Kurtzman touches. He's destroyed Star Trek. He destroyed The Amazing Spider-Man. Thankfully, Marvel came in and managed to salvage it in a version of Spider-Man that I don't particularly enjoy. Spider-Lad, or Iron Lad, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like him in the Avengers movies, and I like Tom Holland in the role, but I don't like the universe that they've created for Spider-Man specifically in his own films. It doesn't feel like Spider-Man to me. But, it's financially successful, it's viable, it's got its fans. So they came in and salvaged it. But yeah, they just keep handing properties to Alex Kurtzman. They handed him Silence of the Lambs. He's done that Clarice show that's already tanked. And now, when we had a
Silence of the Lambs show without Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, because, Clarice Starling is the interesting character in that. She's the one everybody talked about, right?
She's the one thing you could remove and still have an interesting story, because anyone can be the detective.
And they proved that with Red Dragon and, with the other Hannibal films. They proved that with the Hannibal show where Mads Mikkelsen played Hannibal. That was an interesting show, and it got canned. So then let's have
That's what the story's about.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, granted, Red Dragon isn't all about Hannibal Lecter. He's just an interesting supporting character that drives the character forward. But again, he's a good foil. Yeah.
I don't get it, Aaron. We'll see. We're gonna have more shit.
They're gonna do it to He-Man.
Oh,
they've already done it to She-Ra, and they've already made She-Ra radioactive. And man, that is a toxic fan base online. Man, those people are insane. They're just like going still just. What I don't understand.
I feel bad for Clownfish. Those guys are really nice, Neon and Gigi Sparkles, but they just make content about the most insane, rabid fan base out there. They're. I don't want to ever call a fan base toxic, but maybe that one is.
Yeah, I don't like to use that term either, but man, I just what do they call them? The Sheries? I guess that's maybe more
psychos,
more
what I call them.
Yeah, because there's probably I don't want to paint the whole fandom with a broad brush. There's people.
I'm gonna do it. I don't give a shit. They're psychos.
But the majority, the loudest elements of any fandom. But that's the thing, is that we get accused of being outraged about things, and you and I just don't care anymore. And I don't understand being an adult that cares.
When you see my face bright red, and I can and you see me do the entire 20-minute video with no edit, that means I was outraged.
That's right. You're red faced. You got the vein bulging out of your temple. You're about to have.
And I don't stop. I don't have to edit anything out. I didn't have to rethink about anything. It's literally a stream of conscious for 20 minutes. You found me outraged.
Well, I think
doesn't happen very often.
I think our last 2 videos have been just streams of consciousness. I don't think we've stuck remotely to a topic. We've been all over the place. It's more like a bar conversation now than it is any kind of legitimate discourse that we're having. But hopefully people like it. But yeah, no, that's the problem, is you make these things untouchable. You make them radioactive. They did it to She-Ra. They're going to do it to He-Man most likely. You kill these franchises.
Kill Thundercats, man.
Yeah,
there's like 100 Thundercats fans in the world, and you fucking ruined it for them.
No, if you came back with another kick-ass Thundercats show that like they had in the early 2000s, then you'd see that fandom come back. That's what they want. You have to give the fans what they want, and you can give them a goofy little kids show like Thundercats Roar, even though none of that felt like it was written for kids. None of the comedy felt like it was written for children. It feels like everything is being written for young adults in stages of arrested development. And that's what you're seeing from these fandoms online is like, look, if you're still talking about She-Ra, a show that's over, and still attacking people because you're attacking Kevin Smith because there's a new He-Man show, and how dare there be a new He-Man show when your She-Ra show is over? You got your show. It ended. For whatever reason, because the creators had finished the story, that they wanted to tell, or the ratings weren't that great. Who knows? We don't know what Netflix's ratings are. We don't know what the reason is, but it's over. And maybe you'll get something else in the future if somebody decides it was financially viable. But you're not going to be able to threaten and bully companies into putting out content.
That's what happened when you did the Snyder Cut. They ruined it for everybody. Because they showed the fans that was a viable, proven way to get the thing that you wanted made.
I guess so. And boy, aren't we all bet the better for that existing.
We better not go into there. That's how I get. Those are my most downvoted videos when we get into anything to do with Zack Snyder.
Oh, really? Zack Snyder. I'm gonna get you downvoted right now. I will say this. I'll extend an olive branch. The Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, with the exception of the epilogue, if you chop that epilogue off, much better than Joss Whedon's version. At least it was a coherent, cohesive vision. I will give you that. Aside from that, Zack Snyder has not made a good movie since Dawn of the Dead.
I agree with that. Let's get out of here before people get mad. Thank you, Aaron.
All right, man. Talk to you later.